What's up everyone, Swifty here, and welcome back to the Swifty Academy. Today we're diving into the EFV-8 Mars and taking a close look at the new Prototype Shard Coils Augment. We'll be testing 3 different builds: pure damage, corrosive heat, and gas electricity, to see how they perform in the Simulacrum with yours truly, Rhino Prime, my main Warframe. And by the end of this video, you will know if this augment is a must-have or something you can skip entirely. And without further ado, let's dive in. Before we touch a single mod slot, we will have to go and have a look at the Augment mod itself. Prototype Shard Coils adds plus 90% electricity damage, and shards have a 20% base chance to apply extra electricity status independent of minor damage types. So after a lot of testing and seeing what fits me personally, I have concluded a few final builds and things that you can maybe change around and come to your own conclusion. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at the EFV-8 Mars. Without looking any further, let's go and have a look at the unique trait. It says alternative fire charges up a glob of explosive Everon gel, which staggers and corrodes enemies with corrosive status effects. And as you can see, obviously I do have a ribbon. And another obvious thing to notice is that on this setup specifically, we don't have the Augment mod. Why? Because how the Augment mod functions is mainly aimed towards DOT setups. When I mention DOT setups, I'm talking about the classic corrosive and heat setups. Now yes, whoa, I know I have a ribbon, don't be alarmed. Instead of the ribbon, you can simply use lethal turret that will essentially give you extra fire rate and more multi-shot. So please don't be alarmed when you look at the ribbon. The ribbon, oh, it's very juicy, I know. It's a utility based ribbon. It's not needed to have a ribbon, I'm telling that straight off the bat. You can simply replace the ribbon with lethal turret. Now, what I'm gonna say is gonna break your mind when you look at the fundamentals of what Augment mod actually does and what's the actual function of said Augment mod. Now, a lot of people would say this Augment mod is the worst version of Prime Convulsion. That's true, but that's also false. Because you're not modding it just for electricity. Base electricity, I should say. You're modding it for the additional adds up to 20% base chance to apply extra electricity status independent of modded damage types. What this means is when we do a DT setup for a corrosive heat, we are not just benefiting from the heat DOTs, we're benefiting from electricity as well. And we're also benefiting a lot more from Pistol Elementalist. Because it says status damage, it increases it by 90% and we get reload speed. Damage dealt by slash, heat, electricity, toxin, blast or gas status effects. Those are the only status effects that increases your DOTs. However, you heard that right. We are benefiting from heat and electricity, not just from heat. So you can fundamentally state or say that, yeah, while this is a corrosive and heat setup, it's also a hybrid. It goes further to a corrosive, heat and electricity. Now, for our gas and electricity setup, I've decided to go a little bit further and really make a hybrid setup where we utilize both crits and status amplification. Now, as you can see, we don't have galvanized diffusion on this build, but don't be alarmed. Our multi-shot is still there. It's only in an arcane form, and we're utilizing conjunction voltage that says on electricity status effects you get what? You get 1.5% reload speed and multi-shot for 12 seconds, and both stack up to 40x. Now yes, you can maybe argue and say that this is maybe a little bit better or weaker than galvanized diffusion, but we had to make a few sacrifices to make this work, so that's why I have conjunction voltage. And I know what you're gonna say, why not get rid of on a strike? Well, it's because we have to utilize a bunch of elements to bypass the thresholds of galvanized diffusion, so having to have base damage to be to work with your crits and stuff just makes sense for me at the end of the day. Now you can make more arguments and say that, but Prototype Shard Coils is maybe redundant or not really useful. I would say you're probably right. It's not needed for this build specifically, but we're going to utilize it regardless. And yeah, we're benefiting from both gas and electricity. A little bit different from the corrosive meat setup, but we're benefiting from two DOT setups. Alrighty, so yes, I am using companion, and yeah, I have my abilities activated. I am using abilities because we don't use abilities and missions after all. And yeah, this is unscripted, so I do hope you guys like the change. And yeah, my companion just deleted them. I do apologize. Anyways, let's get to work. This is the pure damage setup. As you can see, it doesn't disappoint. It's extremely overpowered. So this is a pure damage setup, so don't think this is supposed to be GG's, it's not, but yeah, it does a lot of damage. It's good. It's a good weapon, very underrated, and well. Alright, so since we're using the corrosive setup, do keep in mind that you're not supposed to do crits, you're supposed to do status. And if you're doing status, well, the health bars on the enemies will glow a slight green as you can see on screen. And when you actually do start charging up your weapons cascading flare, you can see it's very nasty. Very nasty. Another thing to keep in consideration with the Cascadia Flare setup is the following. Is that you don't have to mod for heat specifically on the weapon. Yes, people, we are thinking out of the box. We're using synergies here, and we can have a more broader look at what it can do and benefit a more from it essentially. And we can benefit from yours truly, the arcane called Zid'in Uskus. It says rank 5 on arbitrary or Tyrant Strike kills, and it's 2.4% hit damage for secondary weapon for the duration of the mission. And the max is 250%. Now, with the information of the Zid'in Uskus arcane, you can then make the assumptions and realize that prime heated charge is not really needed. It's nice to have, but it's not 100% 10% needed. You can go and use something else like the turret, for example, or whatever the case might be. But if you want consistent heat procs, and if you don't have a well modded operator amp or whatever, then it's better to not take the chance and just have heat modded onto your weapon. Let's go and have a look at the gas and electricity setup. Now it's kind of similar to how Cascadia Flare works, except we rely on both crits and status, because you can never go wrong with a hybrid setup at the end of the day. and let's go and have a look at it. As you can see, it's killing the exoskeleton officers quite nicely. And if you're curious to know why these guys specifically, well, I'm testing them against these guys because, well, they simulate how a lower gas unit will be in terms of tankiness, armor, and EHP. And we are fully stacked up on the Prototype Shard, and as you can see, it's pretty decent. I don't see any beats with it, to be honest. Now, with this arcane, you can make more assumptions, you know. What I say and show isn't supposed to be the all and be all. It gives you the bigger picture and realize that, wait a minute, this weapon goes deeper than I initially thought. Or second weapon in the hole. There you have it. The Prototype Shard Coils bring some interesting options, but as you've seen in the Simulacrum, it's definitely not the end all be all. Whether you sell it for platinum or keep it for your collection comes down to your own personal playstyle and goals. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below your builds. I'm curious to know what you've done with this augment and what your thoughts are on it, and I'll see you guys in the next guide. Swifty, signing out. Peace.